Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your home for all the latest Liverpool news and drama. Today we've got a packed one. Alexander Isak's fears come true, Florian Wirtz sums up our struggles, Curtis Jones makes a worrying admission after the Galatasaray defeat, Jamie Carragher gets called out for his blunt criticism, Harry Kane's brutal training behavior shocks a former Red, and fresh confidence grows over a defensive signing. Stick around. This is one you don't want to miss. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Alexander Isak fears come true as Florian Wirtz moment sums up Liverpool struggles in. Doyle with the talking points after. Liverpool slumped to a disappointing Champions League. 1-0 defeat at Galatasaray on Tuesday. Evening Istanbul may have provided Liverpool with their greatest ever European night. But the Turkish capital has otherwise offered little joy to Liverpool. This a third successive defeat in the city. More worryingly, though, it was only the fifth time in 66 games under Arne Slot that Liverpool failed to score a goal. It's not that they weren't without chances in the first half, one of which saw Ibrahima Konate sum up another alarmingly hapless showing by heading a corner wide from close range. Hugo Ekitike was lively for the opening 30 minutes, while there was a sense that with a little more care, the Reds could prise open a Galatasaray side who had not won at home in the competition proper in 7 years. But that Liverpool became blunted when Alexander Isak emerged points to an issue of which Slot has long been fearful. The lack of time for the 125 million man to build up an understanding, with a team still adjusting to so many other new arrivals. Isak managed a shot with his first action, but had only 3 further touches during his 38 minutes on the pitch. Mohamed Salah, who came on at the same time, had 19. With doubts over Ekitike's fitness, Isak must now assume the number 9 responsibility for the foreseeable, and the Reds need to start working out how best to capitalize on his quality. Wirtz's struggles continue. It was a moment that perhaps encapsulated the first few months of Florian Wirtz's time at Liverpool. After Ekitike had been crowded out and Cody Gakpo saw a shot cleared off the line, the ball fell to Wirtz inside the area. But rather than try for goal or play a simple pass, the Germany international chose to blindly roll the ball behind himself in the expectation it would be met by an incoming teammate. Instead, Galatasaray simply picked up the loose possession and 20 seconds later were awarded the penalty from whistle-happy referee Clement Turpin that exposed Dominik Szoboszlai's inexperience at right back, and ultimately decided a low-quality encounter. Wirtz was at the heart of sufficient Liverpool first-half threat, and saw a smart shot on the turn saved, but his performance dipped considerably after the break, with only the injuries of others contributing to him lasting the full 90 minutes for the first time since moving to Anfield. There was one good cross for Connor Bradley to head wide, but by the end, he was guilty of the loose possession that affected most of his teammates. A booking in injury time prompted an incredulous look from Wirtz, having earlier been aggrieved at some rough treatment. He is becoming a marked man in more ways than one. Curtis Jones makes alarming admission about Liverpool's defeat to Galatasaray. Liverpool went down to a 1-0 defeat to Galatasaray in Istanbul, and Curtis Jones admits they weren't at the races. Curtis Jones admits Galatasaray wanted it more than Liverpool after Arne Slot's side were beaten 1-0 in Turkey on Tuesday night. Victor Osimhen's first-half penalty condemned the Reds to their second successive defeat, following Saturday's 2-1 loss at Crystal Palace, and the Premier League champions are now tasked with ending that run when they travel to Chelsea this weekend. Slot has never lost 3 in a row as Liverpool boss, and while Jones is confident the Premier League champions will bounce back, he accepted Galatasaray were more aggressive and tenacious on the night at Rams Park. It's always hard when you lose games. Of course it is, but I thought the lads played well. There were positives from the whole of the game, Jones said. In the second half, they played in a low block, and they are a physical team as well. The fans were behind them for the whole night, and it was a hard game, but we'll go again. I got kicked everywhere, but again. I say it all the time, this is the Champions League, and it is always going to be a hard game. It's their biggest game of the year, I'd say, and I think it showed with the fans and how the players played as well. If you look at their first game, they get beat 5-1 by Frankfurt, And if you look at it tonight, it didn't even look like we could have scored. That is just how the game went. We played out loads. It was positive at times when they came and pressed me. Ryan, Gravenberch, and Florian Wirtz, played through and went. But we'd like more shots and obviously more goals. It's just part of the game. I say it all the time, you must be mad if you think you can win every game. You'd obviously like to, but the reality is these teams you play are world-class teams, and it's normal if you lose, it's just how you bounce back. We've got a huge game again in 3 days. The lads have to stay calm. It's part of it. It's not fine that we lose, but we just have to stay calm and it will all change. It will all change, of course it will, Jones added. If you look left and right, there's world-class lads all around. But it is not all about that. It's about lads who want to go and win. It's okay if you're nice on the ball and stuff like that, but you have to go and win, work hard, and run more, and that is what the lads know. Of course they do. But as I have said already, there are games like this, and it won't be the last as well. We would be mad to think we can turn up and just win these games. It's about how much we want to win. Of course we're upset, but there are positives to take, and there is a game again in 3 days, and we have to go again. Jamie Carragher called out for making noise with honest Liverpool criticism. Liverpool suffered a second successive defeat as they were beaten 1-0 by Galatasaray in the Champions League. With Simon Jordan leaping to the defense of the Red Simon Jordan has dismissed concerns about Liverpool's recent form in a spirited defense of the Premier League leaders. The TalkSport presenter disagreed with Reds legend Jamie Carragher following his critique after the 1-0 loss to Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen's spot kick handed Arne Slot's men a second consecutive defeat as they couldn't recover from Saturday's late setback against Crystal Palace. The Premier League frontrunners are facing criticism as their struggles continue, with their title-winning squad underperforming and summer signings yet to meet expectations. Liverpool concludes its demanding run of 3 straight-away fixtures against rivals Chelsea, Saturday, kickoff 17:30, with Dutchman Slot encountering his first real scrutiny following a remarkable maiden campaign at Anfield. Nevertheless, Jordan has argued that the issues aren't as severe as portrayed, with the controversial broadcaster backing the Merseyside club. "Ooh, they've lost 2 games. They're top of the Premier League," he started with a sarcastic remark. They lost to Nottingham Forest at home last season in their first 3 or 4 games. The only difference in this situation is that they haven't looked so assured. I remember watching Liverpool in the first game of the season against Ipswich, and they weren't looking great either. Let's get things into context. They're top of the Premier League. They've lost to Palace, who haven't been beaten by anybody in 18 games, including some of the best teams in the country, so there's no great shame there. The fact is, because they've spent $400 million over 3 transfer windows, they've replaced players they were forced to through tragedies, which increased expenditure that they wouldn't have to do. So they're going through a bit of a blip for 5 seconds. It'll all assemble itself. Carragher argued that Liverpool's current displays don't reflect those of a top team and fall short of the performances that helped Slot secure the Premier League title in his debut campaign. Jordan couldn't help but take a swipe at the former defender's suggestions that there's minimal cause for concern regarding the Reds. He continued, "I'm sure Slot was all ears with his notebook taking down everything that Jamie said. I like Jamie, and I think a lot of the time what he says is worth listening to. In this instance, he's making noise on a television show to create reaction in it. You're top of the Premier League. You're not playing particularly well, but the key component of any side is that if you can win the majority of your games that you play in not very well, there isn't too much wrong with you. If you've got the assembled parts, I'm glad Isak hasn't hit the ground running, as I'd like to see him struggle a bit. Mean-spirited, but notwithstanding it. I look at it and think to myself, what is there to worry about? They are top. There will be little to worry about. Carragher's remarks about Liverpool have sparked debate after he suggested Florian Wirtz should be benched to bring back some steadiness to the team. The 47-year-old also emphasized Liverpool's lack of match control, which has exposed them at the back. I'm not watching a top team, he told CBS Sports. Liverpool are not playing football, they are playing basketball. And I told Slot this on the first game of the season against Bournemouth. They obviously have a fantastic manager. Liverpool last season were a top team, but also a workmanlike team, which they've sprinkled a bit of stardust on in terms of the transfers they have brought in. Harry Kane behavior at training left ex-Liverpool star stunned. He's brutal. Harry Kane has been in sensational form for both club and country this season, and his antics in training have left Bayern Munich's summer signing. Luis Diaz, in awe Harry Kane, has been lauded by his new Bayern Munich teammate, Luis Diaz, who admits he had no idea how good the England captain truly was until he saw him firsthand in training. Diaz swapped Liverpool for Munich this summer following months of speculation over his future. He followed Kane in leaving the Premier League for the Bundesliga, a move which finally helped the former Tottenham striker win major silverware. Now he and Diaz are on the same side as Bayern bid to retain their German title and win the Champions League under Vincent Kompany. When Diaz arrived at Anfield in January 2022, Kane was in his prime for Tottenham but left England 18 months later. And after watching Kane rack up a staggering 20 goal contributions already this term, Diaz had no hesitation when he was asked who he had been impressed by since moving to Munich. The Colombian winger told Bild, "Harry Kane. From my time at Liverpool, when he was still at Tottenham, I knew he scored a lot of goals. But when I trained with him for the first time, I thought, this guy is brutal. He does everything, scores goals, controls the game, and even defends. He totally surprised me. I'm very happy to be able to play alongside him now." Kane scored twice in Tuesday night's 5-1 win over Paphos in the Champions League, taking his overall scoring record for Bayern to a remarkable 102 goals in 105 games. His outrageous returns in front of goal for the German Giants has fueled fresh rumors that he could pursue a return to the Premier League, potentially with Tottenham, as early as next summer. But he stressed last week that a return to England was the last thing on his mind, despite reports claiming to reveal details of a release clause in the striker's contract. "No, I'm not thinking about a Premier League return at the moment. I'm really happy here," he replied when he was quizzed on transfer talk. "I have 2 years left on my contract. I'm enjoying every moment. Bayern is the best place to win trophies, absolutely. Confidence Liverpool can agree deal for defender Liverpool. Confident over Ibrahima Konate." Contract renewal Liverpool have moved decisively in their efforts to secure the long-term future of France international centre-back Ibrahima Konate. As reported by Get Football News France, citing L'Equipe, the Reds have tabled a contract renewal offer to the 26-year-old who is entering the final months of the 5-year deal he signed in 2021. Konate, a graduate of the FC Sochaux Academy, joined Liverpool from RB Leipzig in a $40 million deal and has since established himself as one of the finest right-sided defenders in Europe alongside Virgil van Dijk. His physical presence, anticipation and partnership with the Dutch captain have been central to Liverpool's defensive stability. Contract talks and restructured. Bids L'Equipe revealed that Liverpool first approached Konate less than a year ago. In December, the Reds reportedly submitted an offer that didn't match the Frenchman's status as an undisputed starter for the prospective Premier League champions. Talks paused as Konate focused on Liverpool's title-winning season, their record equaling 20th league triumph. Liverpool have since returned with restructured bids. Talks remain underway between all parties involved, and while Real Madrid and others are monitoring the situation, Liverpool are confident that an agreement will eventually be reached. Importance of securing Konate's future with Van Dijk now in the latter stages of his career, ensuring Konate remains at Anfield is pivotal. His influence in big games has marked him out as the natural heir to the Dutchman's leadership in defense. Liverpool cannot afford to lose a player who has already proved himself at the very top level. Our view, EPL Index Analysis. Liverpool fans will be excited by the news that contract talks with Ibrahima Konate are progressing. Securing a player of his caliber is vital after last season's record-equaling title win. Supporters see him not only as a key defensive pillar, but also as the future leader of the backline once Van Dijk eventually departs or transitions into a reduced role. There will also be some skepticism, particularly with Real Madrid reportedly keeping a close eye on the situation. Liverpool have experienced painful departures in recent years and will not want to see another cornerstone of their squad tempted away. Talks remain underway between all parties involved is encouraging, but it is the final signature that fans are desperate for. The optimism within Anfield circles lies in Konate's bond with the club. He has spoken previously about the atmosphere and unity within the dressing room, qualities that Arne Slot will seek to build upon. If Liverpool are serious about sustaining success in both domestic and European competition, tying down Konate to a long-term deal sends a powerful statement. Fans expect this deal to be closed quickly, and they will rightly demand that the club match his stature with a contract befitting his status.